David, talk to me about fear. Like, we're talking a bit about human emotions. Fear and the weaponization of fear and the amplification of fear. It's something we touch on in the film to a certain extent because, it allowed so much irrational behavior, and it's something that will happen again and again throughout human history. You've talked about that in the past, and even talked about the millennia of weaponizing fear and religions, et cetera. But I feel like it's such a fundamental question we need to ask ourselves because, what I found interesting during the pandemic, and I'm sure you did too, is that some very intelligent, very rational, very logical people started behaving completely the opposite of those things. And it's because they got their buttons pushed in moments of fear, and you got to see who was who and who really was who. And there's the old adage, when the tide goes out, you can see who's wearing their trunks and who's not. And you got to see who really was strong and confident and balanced in the wave of these uncertain fears and those that could be shook. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like ultimately, the more we can bulletproof ourselves individually, the stronger we can be for whatever is going to be thrown at us in the future.
I just did a podcast with Pastor Dave Bryan and Church of Glad Tidings on what he called the curse of Constantine. And it was it's a couple hours. It gets into some pretty interesting historical minutia, but it was a lot of fun. Somewhere along the line, we, as a society, as a group of humanity, decided that we were going to allow someone else's narrative to dictate our destiny. And we decided that we, as individuals or as a collective, were incapable of self-navigation. We needed to have someone somewhere out there to do that navigation. Not surprisingly, a number of tools were considered. And if you go back to 325 and the Council of Nicaea, you get to see the consideration of the tools. How do we manage people so that they diminish their sense of capacity, so that they can be controlled and coerced and corralled? And it turns out that you do it in some very cunning ways. First of all, you kill everybody who disagrees with you. It's amazing. And I've said this many times, but the epigenetic effect of excommunication and execution cannot be overstated. If you go to church on a Sunday morning and you see somebody skinned alive for asking a question on, I don't know, something like, is the earth round? Does the sun go around the earth, or does the earth go around the sun? And you see somebody skinned alive at church, is there a high probability that your epigenetic effect is going to be, don't ask? No, not going to be a surprise at all. Aristotle famously was the one who told us that we only have 5 senses. And Brian, I harp on this. But your brain has 12 cranial nerves. 12. You have 12 cranial nerves. That means you have 12 senses. But Aristotle said we had 5, and the Catholic Church decided to institute as heresy anyone who questioned the 5 senses. My favorite of all of them is there's a sense that you actually detect in the blood flow of someone's neck. And in 1215, Pope Innocent III, on the same council where he declared the infallibility of the church, also mandated the wearing of the clerical collar, which does what? Oh, that's right. It blocks your perception of that sense of truth. Isn't that amazing that we actually created a doctrine that said you can't be wrong, and then we're going to cover up the evidence of your lie on the same day we create the doctrine you can't be wrong? It's amazing. So what we do is we habituate ourselves into this notion that there's someone out there that knows better. And then we build that into every social system. Somebody else knows better. There's got to be an expert for this. There's got to be a God for that. There's got to be a this for that. And it's always out there. And we never consider the fact that every out there opens up an energetic gap that says, I'm not enough. My body is not smart enough to handle a pathogen that I might be exposed to. My choices in life aren't at a capacity that allows me to make selections and say I can choose to exercise and I can choose a good diet and I can choose those things. I need someone out there somewhere telling me what has to happen for me. Rather than saying, and by the way, religious people hate when I do this, but I go ahead and do it anyhow because it's the right thing to do. What if you were actually fearfully and wonderfully made? What if you were perfect at your creation? What if an almighty source actually made you perfect? And then people go, oh yeah, no, we can't be perfect. We've got, and then we add all of the pieces around that are our inadequacies, our insufficiencies. And here's the point. The point is that then we allow the agency that we should have on our own, where we actually know what is right. We know what is good. We know what love is like, and we know what evil looks like. We know those things. We don't need them told to us, because we know that our own barometers work when we actually allow them to work. But when we start allowing the agency to float away from us and it's someone else, somewhere else, we actually accept two things at the same time in equal proportion. Number one, we shift our accountability out there. Our life is someone else's fault. We become victims of what happened to us.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.